Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a state board decides Selena's killer will get parole ahead of the 30th anniversary of Selena's death.
We talk with the new police chief of Seadrift about what she's enjoying about her role.
And nearly a foot of rain in South Texas leads to street flooding and a temporary hospital closure.
The rainfall has been significant over our area as well. Fortunately, we haven't had too many problems. Here you are, Victoria, and there you see the rain that's coming up from the south. In fact, it'll continue to rain overnight. We'll have some thunder showers as well overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then it clears up for the weekend. I'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And a big signing happened yesterday here in the Crossroads. Find out who that is coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
With the rain starting up again tonight, we will need to watch for flooding overnight.
Yes, indeed. And let's go to Mac Bettis with a first look at the forecast. And Mac, how bad do you think the flooding could be in the Crossroads overnight?
Well, it's going to be very difficult to pinpoint because now we're looking at discrete thunderstorms. In other words, across the street, it's going to come down hard, 2 to 3 inches of rain, which will have flooding, but 2 blocks away, they didn't get the rain. So it's going to be catch as catch can. So most important part is the following. We are already saturated. Additional rain will become immediate runoff. We are looking right about here at the city, and you can see how the rain is coming back in. And then we take a look down south, and we've got to get through all of this stuff moving through overnight before it finally gets out of here tomorrow afternoon. So again, if you're driving early in the morning in the dark, just be very cautious. If you see flooded roadways, well, turn around, don't drown. That's the saying. We'll have more details on your forecast, and we'll take a look at your weekend coming up in a moment. Back to you.
Well, up to a foot of rain has fallen in parts of far South Texas. Rio Hondo experienced several inches of rain after the area experienced very dry conditions. All of that led to what you see there, the flooding on the roadways, vehicles underwater. They also had issues with stormwater drains that caused minor flooding as rainwater spilled into areas of the South Texas Health System in McAllen. Incoming walk-in and ambulance patients were temporarily diverted to other nearby hospitals.
Now to our viewer poll for tonight. Here's the question. How has your experience been with all this rain so far? Your choices. I have some flooding, or I have some rain damage, or I'm enjoying it so far. Well, 95% of our voters overwhelmingly say, I'm enjoying it so far. Hope you keep enjoying it because more rain is on the way. Go to crossroadstoday.com to let us know, and thank you for voting, and stay dry tonight.
Parole is denied for the woman convicted of killing singer Selena Quintanilla Perez. Yolanda Saldivar, who was the president of Selena's fan club, fatally shot the 23-year-old superstar in 1995. She was taken into custody after a 10-hour standoff with police and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 30 years. The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles said in a statement that Saldivar's crime had a mix of brutality, violence, and assaultive behavior. Due to that, it said Saldivar remains a public safety threat. The 64-year-old's next parole review is in 5 years. A Texas family is mourning the loss of their son. The 29-year-old died while kayaking on a lake.
But before he passed, his dad said he made one final call. Adriana de Alba spoke to the grief-stricken parents.
Hand in hand.
He had so many different fun vehicles.
Troy and Pam Zinzer
I've come down here wheeling with my son a couple times.
revisit their adventurous son's favorite path.
This is gonna be so hard, honey.
Hard to look out at his favorite spot on Louisville Lake.
You love this lake.
2 weekends ago, their son, Terrence Zinzer, who goes by Taz, went kayaking.
He was just chilling. I'm sure he probably saw a beautiful sunset right before. And then I think the water was a little choppy that night.
Little.
And it was getting dark.
At around 9, the 29-year-old from Little Elm called his dad in a panic with words this dad will never forget.
I'm in the middle of the lake and I don't think I'm gonna make it. He goes, I'm floating towards the toll bridge. He says, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. He's like, Dad, I'm so sorry. And then the phone went dead.
That's the last time he heard from his son.
I've always been able to rescue him.
They, along with law enforcement, searched the lake. It was windy. He told his dad his kayak flipped over. The Louisville Fire Department recovered his body, wearing a life jacket.
My boy's dead.
His boy, who loved family, dirt bikes, and motorcycles.
I just love him so much, and I miss him so much.
Their faith
We know our son's with the Lord.
and memories are all that bring comfort.
I can't wait to see him again.
Authorities in Houston are looking for a father who left his family behind after a high-speed crash Tuesday. Police say the man was speeding down the street in a Ford Expedition at 100 miles an hour when his vehicle collided with a truck that made an illegal turn into a gas station. The Expedition flipped into a ditch. Police say the driver ran off and had another car pick him up. Meanwhile, his wife and 4 children were left behind at the scene. One child was ejected from the vehicle. Police say everyone was taken to the hospital in serious and critical condition. The truck driver has been cooperating with investigators.
Seadrift's new police chief is upholding the law, but says that her role, more importantly, is about serving her community. Cheyenne Beaver was appointed chief in early February. She started with the department 8 months ago as a lieutenant with no plans of being the chief. She did serve as interim police chief since July of 2024, and city leaders say she's great for the chief position because of her dedication to the city and wanting to uphold the law.
Come back and to be able to give back to a town that my family's grown and flourished in it means the world to me. It really does.
Chief Beaver wants to be a beacon of hope for Seadrift, reminding the community that they can always count on the police. She's been in law enforcement serving Calhoun County for 13 years.
And Seadrift residents meet the candidates face-to-face to voice their concerns.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us with details. Amaya?
Yes, Shawna and Dawn. The city of Seadrift brought the community together last night for an important event, a meet and greet for all candidates running for office. Residents gathered to engage with those seeking to represent them and discuss key issues affecting the town. Seadrift residents took the opportunity to meet candidates competing for local office. Community members asking pressing questions about making Seadrift beautiful again, improving local roads, and addressing ongoing water issues. We had the chance to speak with Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Johnson, who highlighted the importance of voting.
If you don't get out and vote, you can't make a difference because you're not voting for the people that would be wanting to get in there and make a difference. So every vote truly does count, and it's very important people exercise those freedoms that we do have. So.
Tracy Johnson, who currently serves as the Mayor Pro Tem, is running for re-election to the City Council. Kenneth Reese, Richard Battles, Tanya Cunningham, and Christy Kosser are running to fill 3 City Council positions. Lori Stafford Thomas is the sole candidate in Seadrift mayor race. Early voting begins April 21st and ends April 29th. Election day is May 3rd. Shawna and Dawn, back to you.
Thank you, Amaya. A rabies-positive skunk is found in Victoria County. Animal Services picked up the skunk Monday near a home on Burkhart Road. Testing confirmed it did have rabies. No human or pet exposures have been reported. This is the first confirmed rabies case ever in the southern part of Victoria County. Officials urge residents to keep pets up to date on rabies vaccinations and report any unusual wildlife behavior to Victoria County Animal Services.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said he'll move to force an overtime session of the legislature if lawmakers fail to ban THC or tighten Texas bail laws, 2 of his top priorities, before the current session ends in early June. To read the full Texas Tribune article, go to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Fallout is growing from the breach in national security on the messaging app Signal. Now, a court hearing held in Washington this afternoon about all this.
5 members of President Trump's cabinet are being sued, accused of not preserving government records. As ABC's Perry Russum reports, it comes as there's a new call for an investigation into the chat group.
In a letter to the Department of Defense's acting inspector general, the leaders of the Senate Armed Services Committee are calling for an investigation into the group chat on Signal. The bipartisan leadership of Republican Senator Roger Wicker and Democratic Senator Jack Reed say they want to know, in part, if any individuals transferred classified information, including operational details, from classified systems to unclassified systems. The Attorney General today downplaying the seriousness of the issue.
It was sensitive information, not classified, and inadvertently released. And what we should be talking about is it was a very successful mission.
Growing pressure on Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth after his military attack plans inadvertently sent to a reporter were published. According to The Atlantic, Hegseth sent exact times of when fighter jets would take off, when strike drones would launch, when the first bombs would drop, and when sea-based Tomahawk missiles would be fired, hours before the attack started in Yemen.
Mr. Secretary, are you still using Signal?
The information was sent on the encrypted messaging app Signal, which the Pentagon found in 2021 to be an unauthorized means of communicating sensitive information. Democrats on Capitol Hill calling for a criminal investigation.
There's no reason that the higher-ups here should be given greater leniency just because they're in a position of power.
The Department of Justice and FBI say they have no plans to investigate. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Today marks the anniversary of the Goliad Massacre, a tragic chapter in Texas history. On March 27, 1836, Colonel James Fannin and over 400 Texan prisoners of war were executed by Mexican forces during the Texas Revolution. Seen as traitors instead of soldiers by Santa Anna, their deaths became a powerful rallying cry for Texas independence. This somber moment in history serves as a reminder of the courage and sacrifices made in the fight for freedom. A reenactment of the Goliad Massacre is planned for this weekend at the Presidio La Bahia in Goliad. You can find the full schedule of events on crossroadstoday.com. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a groundbreaking new therapy is offering hope for people living with Parkinson's disease and possibly other disorders in the future.
Also ahead, major cuts coming at several of the country's health agencies. Find out how soon, coming up.
A new treatment for Parkinson's disease symptoms is now available to the public. The FDA approved the new therapy called Adaptive Deep Brain Stimulation, which was developed at Stanford University. Doctors implant a medical device into a patient's chest that sends electrical currents to the brain. Those currents help ease the tremors, stiffness, and other symptoms of Parkinson's. Doctors are hoping to adapt the treatment for other brain disorders. Tonight, White House announcing a major overhaul at the country's health agency. This includes the FDA, the CDC, and the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services. The HHS secretary saying over 10,000 jobs will be slashed.
And that's in addition to the 10,000 workers who already chose to leave through buyouts and early retirement.
Tonight, the Trump administration and Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing major cuts to the agency that oversees America's health, supervises Medicare and Medicaid, and monitors food and drug safety. The cuts include 20,000 people, a quarter of its workforce. Half could be laid off as soon as tomorrow.
This will be a painful period for HHS as we downsize from 82,000 full-time employees to around 62,000.
Kennedy saying the cuts came in coordination with Doge leader Elon Musk and will save taxpayers nearly $2 billion a year. But medical experts, including former acting CDC director Dr. Richard Besser, insist it's impossible to cut so many jobs without Americans, quote, suffering.
I worry that in this drive to cut positions and save money, critical programs that impact on people's lives are going to be cut as well.
Kennedy also hoping to consolidate HHS agencies from 28 divisions to 15. Kennedy saying he is streamlining a bloated bureaucracy, but some divisions will be hit especially hard. The FDA will lose 3,500 employees, the CDC 2,400, and narrow its focus to epidemics and outbreaks. But traditionally, the agency has handled far more, monitoring health trends like chronic diseases, firearm injuries, and overdose deaths. Members of Congress weighing in.
HHS is a critical agency, and it does have to be adequately staffed in order to perform its multifaceted missions.
Spending is an addiction in this town. We have to find ways to be lean and efficient with the people's money. And this is the start of a process to have a federal government that is, frankly, going to be able to be lean and efficient for the future of our nation.
Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Frito-Lay announced a recall of its Tostitos Cantina traditional yellow corn tortilla chips. The company says the product may contain undeclared milk that can pose a potential health threat for people with dairy-related allergies. The chips in question were sent to retailers in 13 states. This recall does not impact other Tostitos products.
Good evening, everybody. We're looking at 68 degrees right now. The rain is coming back, so it's not completely over with. We managed to only get up to 70 today because of the rainfall. The 1.85 of rain that we got today is a new record for the date. We set a record yesterday, too. The thing is, if this is not over with, tonight we're going to see a lot of big thunderstorms roll back in, thunder and lightning, all that. We'll talk about it in a moment.
Get ready for the madness. Think you know college hoops? Prove it. Enter the Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Put your bracket up against sports director Max Williams and weekend sports reporter Ray Robinson. Dribble on over to crossroadstoday.com to enter on the contest page. Win it all and score a family 4-pack with a hotel stay and a round of golf for two at Moody Gardens in Galveston. The Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Brackets lock soon. Enter now.
Well, good evening, everybody. We continue with the alert day because for tomorrow, between tonight and tomorrow, we have in all counties a good possibility of additional 3 to 4 inches of rain and possible strong winds with thunder and lightning. Why are we doing this? Well, let me show you. Now, here's the city. You can see how we were quiet for a while, but then showers are moving northbound. Now, you got to widen up the picture to show you what we're talking about. These are the monster storms that dropped the torrential rain down the valley. I saw reports of 4 to 8 inches of rain in the McAllen area. There's quite a bit of flooding because it's really flat country. And also in Reynosa in northern Mexico, they got a lot of flooding there too. That particular cluster is moving offshore. But we've got a new one. Yes, sirree, right here. There's Laredo. Watch the storms build, build, build. Boom, now they're severe. Okay, this is another view. This is the top view. There's Victoria. Heaviest activity now is in the yellow over here. Going to widen up and show you. While we are here, we've got all this stuff that's going to be rolling through Texas, through our area tonight. So I believe that there will be thunder and lightning overnight. Some of this activity is getting rather severe. Now I wanted to show you this map. It's a lightning map, and it's picking out the areas where the biggest storms are located. So you can get the idea that right here, there's something big brewing. That is in Laredo, and of course, you know, 59 goes all the way down there. So we're going to have to be watching overnight to see how close that gets to our region. I do believe that by sunrise, we'll have heavy rain, and that will cause pretty quick flooding. Why? Because we're saturated. We had record rain today, record rain yesterday. Additional rainfall will be runoff. So low water crossings, even the streets may get overwhelmed by this. And if you live in the county, out in the county, ranch roads may be inundated as well. So do be cautious in the morning when you get up, and turn around, don't drown. So here's all that stuff. There you can see that circulation right about there. It's going to move through us tomorrow, and then by the end of Friday, it should be pulling up into Louisiana and the southern Mississippi Valley. They're going to have problems too, I can tell you right now. This is a pretty nasty system that's going through. We have a frontal system out here that may get here on Monday, but it's actually only going to dry us out. So again, the flood watch from Harris County through Victoria County all the way down to Webb County, and the severe thunderstorm warning way down there in Laredo because of that cluster that I showed you about. Also, tomorrow, the lighter green area here is where we have a marginal chance, less than a 10%, that we may have severe thunderstorms. Those are thunder, lightning, hail, all that stuff. So there'll be individual sized storms that will be popping up here and there. But the good news is that then it all moves out. But as you can see here on Future Tracker, we're going through Friday, we're going all the way to Saturday, and it's got a bit of a bullseye in our area, so that we may have significant rainfall in the overnight time period. So again, I say in the morning, just drive carefully, okay? And if it's too dark and you don't know where you're going, sit home and have a cup of coffee. Tell them I said so. Anyway, showers and thunder showers again tomorrow, clearing by the end of the day. In Cuero, you're not going to get much done outdoors tomorrow with shower activity all day long, only in the 70s, but clearing up by the end of the day. 7-day forecast, well, there you go. The flag alert for alert day for tomorrow because of flooding and potential heavy thunderstorms. Then it clears up. And by Saturday, we should be back to nice weather. Temperatures getting back into the 80s. And next week, it looks like it's going to be rain-free. So in 2 days, we caught up with what? About 6 months worth of rainfall. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Max with the Athlete of the Week.
That's right, Mac. After the break, I'm going to reveal who will be this week's Athlete of the Week. I'll tell you who that is coming up after the break. Good evening here, Crossroads. And earlier today, we had some breaking news with Luis AD and head football coach there in, again, Party got the name there for the school district. He was again resigned there by the school. Again, Manny Freeman, Party of it, the name. Again, he was with the Hornets there the past 2 seasons, but earlier this week, again, they had to talk about it there. They were trying to reassign him, but again, he let himself resign there from the school. So therefore, Luis, they're open there for a new coaching search coming up. Now, over here to our athlete of the week here, we're handing it back to, staying in the powerlifting ranks, Victoria West boys powerlifter Brody Flores. Here's more for our athlete of the week.
Go, 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 go,
This week's Athlete of the Week, we're staying in the powerlifting area, just like last week's Victoria West boys powerlifter Brody Flores. Flores broke the back squat and bench records at state and helped West finish 2nd place in the entire state of Texas. With all these accolades, Brody mentioned that his favorite was squat and tells us why that's the case.
I think it is because going into the meet, that's when you have the most, I guess for me, it's the most energy going into it because all the anticipation, all the preparation, you feel it going into your first lift, and I feel like that's where I get the most adrenaline.
With Flores feeling pumped about performing high at back squat and bench, he also enjoys doing powerlifting because of the different people he's met along the way and the competitive nature of the sport.
I love the competitiveness and the people. You meet a whole bunch of people at the meets, you meet a whole bunch of great personalities, getting to know them and then getting to know some of the judges, it's a great community.
Flores doesn't just do powerlifting. He also was running back this past season for West, which made a deep playoff run last year. Flores talks about how doing powerlifting for him translated to the football field.
Really keeping a stable set of mind, because in powerlifting, it's more of a single person based sport. So whenever you're down on yourself and you make a mistake, you really gotta hone in on how are you gonna deal with it on your own.
With his passion for both football and powerlifting, Brody will be heading into his senior season. Already has some goals set for next year.
State championship. But yes, sir, it's also to come back and break my own records.
This year in total for Brody was already a record-breaking one, breaking the squat and bench records and going far in the football playoffs last year. Can't wait to watch Brody more next year, and congrats for being this week's Athlete of the Week. All right, now over to a big sign that happened yesterday here in the Crossroads. Victoria East football star Braylon Vasquez signed to Bethel College up there in Kansas, which is a school that I'm familiar playing with. I was in the same conference when I played football there at Abilene University, and Vasquez is going to go to a big-time school there in Bethel. Also, his teammate, forgot to mention there in the 6th, Caleb Jefferson, also signed there yesterday. He's also going to Bethel as well. So you got both teammates going to Bethel College, and then for Vasquez himself, he had 19 total receptions, 216 total yards, had 3 touchdowns. So wish him and Jefferson luck there at Bethel College. Now over finally tonight with the Quero women's and men's golf teams. They competed at the regional tournaments there yesterday and had both boys and girls teams play 2nd overall. Both of those teams now secured a spot to go into regionals. Now some individual medals there from yesterday. Waylon Dietz finished 1st place, winning district medal there as well. Then Ethan Garrett got 3rd place overall and advanced as an individual medalist. Congrats to both teams. And next stop will be regionals right here in Victoria, Colony Creek. Again, the Lady Gobbers will play April 14th and 15th. The boys will then play on the 16th and 17th. That's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
All right, Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your rainy weather. If you ever wondered how Scooby and the gang got together in the first place, you'll be able to find out in a new streaming series that comes without Scooby snacks.
Stay up and watch No Pants, no problem.
I spent probably a third of my life on flights, and I have seen what flight attendants have had to put up with.
Yeah.
I saw a woman drying her underwear on her tray table on a flight.
A sweet treat is sweeping the internet. It's the Dubai bar. The pistachio-filled dessert will cost you a pretty penny, though. A Wisconsin shop sells a half-pound bar for $27 or $8 for a pack of 2 minis. The reason it's so expensive, though, pistachio butter in demand. It's also labor-intensive over a few days to make the treats.
Too expensive. Goodbye, Dubai. A new study shows ancestors of modern iguanas might have been astounding sailors. It indicates they might have traveled about 5,000 miles by sea around 34 million years ago. The route from North America to Fiji might be the longest overwater journey by a non-human land vertebrate species. The researchers say genetic evidence suggests the ancient iguanas might have floated on vegetation. Their study is out in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Have to check that out. Yes.
How did they figure that out?
And there's a lot of things probably floating on rivers right about now because of all the rain.
As a matter of fact, they're floating down Navarro Street, as a matter of fact. Well, folks, because the rain is coming back, we still have the potential for flooding tonight. Tomorrow morning, if you get up early, I would wait until it's sunrise. Make sure if you're especially driving out in the county roads that there's a road there, because we are looking for our flood problems to continue through most of Friday until about Friday evening. Then all of this thing finally pulls out of here. We're looking for a better weekend. That's the good news. And it's good that it rained.
If only we could wait till after sunrise to get the kids to school. That'd be great.
Well, that would be great.
Zoinks! Scooby-Dooby-Doo and the gang are coming to Netflix. The streaming service is coming out with a live-action series based on Scooby and the gang. The beloved animated series has been adapted for 3 live-action movies, but this will be the first ever live-action Scooby-Doo series. It will be an original story featuring characters based on the beloved mystery-solving gang from the original animated show. The 8-episode series will focus on the haunting case that brought the crew and their cowardly dog together in the first place. Netflix has not announced the cast or the release date yet, though.
Scooby-Doo. No, I thought it was.
Oh, I don't know. I get all those
sandwiches. That's all I remember.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Joining 25 News Now Sunrise, Carolina Ostroim, meteorologist Parker Cox at 5 a.m. And we leave you with a look at the students from Faith Family Church Homeschool. About 15 students dropped by for a field trip, and a few mentioned they plan to pursue journalism as a career. Thank you, students, for visiting. And one of these days, you may be here tonight, students, and say, Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.